Welcome to the Startup Leaders Show, where we learn lessons from leading startup founders and executives. I am your host, Lisa Dreher, and I'm really excited to introduce our guest for today, Vishnu Bhargav. He is the CEO and founder of Astro Seed. Welcome to the show, Vishnu.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It would be great if you could give us a little bit of background on yourself and Astro Seed.
Yeah, I'm Vishnu. That's how it's pronounced, Vishnu. And I started a company called Astro Seed, like Lisa said. We are building plant modules. When I say plant modules, think of them as like 1,500 cubic feet plant production systems to decentralize and democratize food production on Earth, and hopefully in the future in space as well.
Wow, that's really exciting. So, how did you come to found Astro Seed?
I'm an engineer at the heart. At the core of me is an engineer. So I want to solve problems that people actually care about and creates a lot of value in the society. So I was like, what are the problems that we as a society are facing right now? And one of them is people dying of hunger and people being insecure about food. So that's how this entire thing started. And I saw what ASU and NASA was doing in space sector. I was like, yeah, I'm getting into both of these at the same time. And if we can use space techniques on Earth, why not use them, right? If they walk in space, why not? They will walk on Earth as well.
That's great. So, what's really exciting about this idea, I think, is that you have application both right now on Earth as well as in space. So, can you tell us a little bit about how your products actually work?
So we use something called aeroponics, which is a space technique was invented by NASA. Plants, turns out, don't really care about soil. All they care about is the environment that they're living in and if they're getting the nutrients that they want. So in aeroponics, we just spray water nutrient solutions onto the roots of the plants directly, and that gives us more degrees of freedom to work with, and that gives us as a whole to start growing plants in vertically. Instead of in traditional agriculture, it's more of a generalized approach and it's more of a horizontal approach, right? You grow everything horizontally and you grow everything in the same environment and more or less in this and more or less in the same it's a generalized approach, right? But in aeroponics, we can precisely target a particular plant if it's showing any not normalcies, or we can aeroponics by default is a very resource efficient technique. It uses 85% less water or 80% less fertilizer and gives you 400% more yield than traditional agriculture does. And yeah, in our modules in Terrapods, we're trying to decrease that activation energy as a whole. As I said, we're trying to decentralize and democratize. So you can just buy the modules, put in the cities itself, and grow whatever food you want to grow in the cities itself. Instead of transporting food from, you know, from random places in the USA, you can just grow food in Phoenix or you can grow food in New York or Chicago itself. And we're also trying to decrease that activation energy. Uh, like as of now, to start an agricultural company, you'd have to have millions of dollars or acres of traditional land or generational wealth of knowledge to start with. But if
Hmm.
you see our Terrapod as a whole, we're making it more autonomous and trying to take out human from the equation as much as possible. We'll have drones to take images. We have robotic arms to go around and do all the harvesting, all the maintenance stuff. So all you have to do is just buy it, sit in your couch, and say, I want 10 strawberries and 10 lettuce and 10 fruits, and you'll get them by the end of the month.
Wow, that is amazing. So, are there certain types of plants or foods that grow better in the pods than others?
Uh, Fundamentally, you can grow any plant, but there are plants that are profitable and there are plants that are not profitable in vertical farming, right? Because say plants like staple foods like rice or wheat, uh, the amount of resources to grow that plants would outweigh the amount you would get by selling them. So there are plants that are suitable for vertical farming, but hopefully in the future, wherein we can harness renewable energy like solar power, wherein we don't have to care about, how much energy that we're using per plant. then I'm pretty sure we can expand that portfolio from leafy greens or microgreens or fruits to every staple plant that we generally use for.
Great. Are there any considerations as you were putting these solutions together, especially as it applies to space, in terms of anti-gravity, environments? Is that come into your development of the solution?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's one reason why we're using aeroponics, because in space, we can have whatever orientation that we would want, right? There's no up or down or any direction in space. You can grow plants like this if you want to. It's up to us. So aeroponics gives us that degrees of freedom to work with. You can have a nozzle in the roots and you can grow plants like this, or put your light source at the bottom and the plant will grow at the bottom.
Wow, that is really cool. So how much, I guess, harvest or how much space do you need to use one of these pods that you've created?
Um, our size of the pod is around 1500 cubic feet right now. Think of like a 10 feet cube, like a big 10 feet cube, and that can replace around 2 to 3 acres of a traditional land.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's the power of vertical farming, right? You can grow plants in different levels.
Oh, wow, that is absolutely amazing. And how does this work in, I guess, really barren environment? So if you're talking about, I mean, it could be on Earth or maybe on Mars or what have you, but areas where it's very barren and you don't have a lot of the kind of environmental benefits of really, I guess, good, growing environments. How does this kind of work around those challenges?
I mean, like you said, there are places on Earth that are equally challenging as space, right? Take Alaska, for example, or deserts, for example. They are very challenging to grow plants. So we are trying to make our pteropod as closed loop as possible. Like if you see ISS, International Space Station, for example, they try to reuse every little thing, right? They even try to reuse sweat of our astronauts. That's how pinpointed they are. We're trying to make our pteropod as closed loop as possible, so that you can use it anywhere on Earth. You can put it in your Scotland, or you can put it in Canada or something like that, where it's just covered with snow, and you can still uh, grow whatever food you want. Everything in environment inside of pteropod can be controlled, right? So you can tailor make environments for those plants. And we want to use renewable energies like solar power, for example. Uh, we can have solar panels on top of our pteropod so that we can harness the solar power and like solar energy as well.
Mhm, mhm. Wow, that's great. So you've been working on this project for about 6 months, it sounds like. Have there been any, I guess, challenges that you've run into or pivots that you've had to make from your original idea?
Yes. So, I mean, this is a very tech heavy product, right? I mean, this is a big product and a very tech heavy product. Imagine building this with a people of more than 80, 90 people. We have a team of more than 80, 90 people in our ACU right now. And imagine handling all this stuff. So there were a lot of issues, obviously, figuring out how to communicate with, different subsystems. We have different subsystems, with people from engineering, with people from biology, with people from botany, with people from psychology, people from space exploration. So all of us have to come together. Only then the product would work. Right? For example, if the automation is going somewhere else and the Terraform is going somewhere else, the pipelines, there's no point in working. So the challenges were definitely on making sure everyone's on the same page and making sure that there is a clear goal to walk into.
Hmm. Hmm. Great. So who do you see as your initial customers?
Um, we're targeting container farmers right now. There's a big market called container farming in vertical farming sector, wherein they use shipping containers, these normal shipping containers, and they repurpose them for growing food. That's one of our target market. Our another target market are people living in urban and harsh regions, like you said.
Hmm.
Say you're living in New York, for example, it goes to what, -20 or -40 in winters, right? or you're living in place like Phoenix, for example, it goes to 120 in summers, right? So even if you have a backyard, there is no way you can grow plants in there. It's going to bake out with snow, or it's going to bake out with uh, it's going to bake out with just heat. You cannot
Yeah.
grow plants. So people like in those situations can buy it, put it in their backyard, and then start growing food again.
Got it. Got it. Wow, that's amazing. Well, this is a very exciting technology and solution. It looks like there are applications both on Earth and in space. So I'm really excited for you guys. When do you expect to start delivering your first pods?
Yeah, that's a good question. It again, it's a very tech-heavy thing. It's a big boy, right? You have to have a lot of energy, a lot of research, a lot of experiments you have to do. Only then the project will be successful. So we are expecting our Terrapod to be ready by the end of next year, by the end of 2024. A product that you can buy it from the website, put it in your backyard again, regardless of whatever experience you have with farming, you don't have to have any experience. We'll have a small training session online, and yeah, the rest of it can be done by the Terrapod itself. But yeah, hopefully we're done with all our experiments or research done by 2024.
Wow, that's really exciting. Okay, so the pteropods are this kind of 10-foot cube. Are you thinking there may be smaller options for, I don't know, people that live in apartments and maybe only have a deck or something like that? Is that a possibility?
Oh yes, for sure. Right now, we are not looking into smaller ones, but after 2024, I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of people interested in smaller pods. And we're also speaking with some customers who want smaller pods, I would say. So in future, for sure, yeah,
Yeah, exciting. And I imagine there's probably opportunities for much larger cubes as well, potentially. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Well, very exciting. So if somebody wanted to learn more about Astro Seed and their pteropods, what should they do?
Just go to our website. There is a clear, it shows everything what Terrapod is and what our goals are and what we are as a team. I'm pretty sure you'll learn a lot about. And we have social media handles as well in the website itself, so you don't have
Great, great, fantastic. And is it astroseed.com? Is that correct?
astroseed.net.
.net. Okay, I'm glad I asked. Astroseed.net. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, Vishnu, I want to thank you so much for making time to be here today. It's been really exciting to learn about Astroseed and your pteropods. I can't wait until these are actually in use both on Earth and in space.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.